I'm Todd Spring with the Blue and Gold, and these are the picks of the week. Today I have some very special guests on the program. To my right, representing the students, we have Darius. To my left, we have Krasik,
People's champ.
and special guest, Miss Warren. So let's start things off with our college conference championships. First matchup, Arizona versus Oregon. Darius, how do you see this one turning out?
Well, you've got two really great offenses. Pac-12 Coach of the Year, Rich Rod, leading his team. Freshman QB, and New Solomon. I think they'll get it done for about 3 quarters. It'll be really tight. But Marcus Mariota and the Ducks pull away 4th quarter at the Ducks.
Krasik.
Darius has got a good point right there. Anna Solomon he's a pretty good quarterback for a freshman. He's only going to get better. Mariota, though, he's going to win the Heisman. All right, you can mark that down right now. Heisman winner, Marcus Mariota, despite a soft-ish Pac-10 schedule. Oregon, they're going to win, I'd say, by a pair of touchdowns on this one.
Miss Warren.
I am choosing my team because all of the teams are good. They wouldn't be in a championship if they weren't, based on the uniform that they're wearing. So I'm going to go with the best uniform here, which is from Oregon, of course. They have multiple options. I like the green. My favorite part is the O with their hands. I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right? And I think these are like duck feathers maybe on their shoulder. I'm going to go with that. Oregon.
Yeah, I love cheering against red, white, and blue.
That's right.
Our next matchup, Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Darius.
Florida State, pretty much nail-biters throughout the whole year. Georgia Tech has a great, obviously, rushing offense. I think Lasky and Days are going to have a field day on the pretty underachieving run defense of Florida State. But I think Florida State pulls away yet again. Field goal by Aguayo last minute.
Krasik.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This game is kind of like the who cares.
Who cares what you think, people's champion?
No one really cares. I think I was about to say Georgia Tech's going to win, but I'm not going to say that anymore. I was going to go and talk about how great Tech is looking and how they played so well against the Dogs.
Why
I
was
don't
I
know
not
why
invited? Why was
you
I not
come in
invited
here
to this
like
party?
some sort of baby gorilla. and
I'm
start
crashing this party
ruining
because
some sort
Georgia
of show
Tech's
here.
crashing Florida State's party.
Well,
Mark it down, mark it down.
to piggyback,
Happy birthday.
thank you. To piggyback on what Abernathy just
Go
said,
Mizzou.
it is a Georgia Tech party because it's going to be like 75% Georgia Tech fans in the stadium because Florida State doesn't care about some mid-major team like Georgia Tech. Florida State hasn't lost this year. Florida State hasn't lost. They didn't lose last year, did they? For some reason, though, the committee is saying, oh, they're not very good. So my guess is the playoff committee, in their infinite wisdom, just like the Federal Reserve System, is some sort of conspiracy, and they are going to make sure that Georgia Tech somehow wins this game, and therefore removing Florida State from any contention, even though they haven't lost in 2 years now.
Okay, uniforms, let's go. Totally Georgia Tech. I mean, seriously, look at this boring, you like to see, boring uniform. Georgia Tech has many options that they can use tomorrow. I definitely like the gold. It makes them look very, what's the word, fancy, schmancy. I think this just, is that even maroon? Is it maroon? Maybe maroon? And white pants, boring. They're going to lose. Sorry, Georgia Tech all the way. And my grandfather went to Georgia Tech, so I'm rooting for them as well.
Our next matchup, Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Darius.
Despite the rankings, Ohio State's actually the underdog in this game. And I'm going to put bias aside here, but JT Barrett goes down, Cardale steps in, so pretty much the 3rd string quarterback. But I think Cardale's athleticism, 6'5", 250, he's going to run it over 100 yards. I think Ohio State pulls away against a really stingy Wisconsin defense.
Krasik.
Ohio State's quarterback may get 100 yards rushing, but Melvin Gordon's going to get like 300 yards rushing. It's a great matchup, and I'm glad Ohio State finally has, their 2nd ranked opponent this year. 3rd, thank you. They're good. I'm not going to say they're not good. They played well all year, but losing their quarterback is going to be tough. So I'm going to give Ohio State burn cream because they're going to get burned on this one. Darius, you can go ahead and keep that, my man.
Okay, my turn, right? I'm sorry, I'm jumping to myself. Okay, so when you watch this game on Saturday, you're not going to be sure which team you're rooting for because they have the same exact uniform, basically. See this? See this?
Their helmets set
Yeah.
apart.
So that's it. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with the helmet because even their helmets look very similar, but you know we have our little stickers on Ohio. Okay. Obviously, one's going to be wearing red and one's going to be wearing white. I don't know which one will be which. You guys get to watch tomorrow to find out. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ohio State. I have a lot of friends actually that went to Ohio State, so I don't really know how good Wisconsin is, but that's not the point. Okay, so Ohio State all the way.
I know what a Badger is, and they're tough.
That's right. They are very, very dangerous enemies. Don't mess with a Badger.
Buckeyes
But I don't even know what a Buckeye
Nuts.
is, to be honest.
Nuts.
Yeah, nuts. Not so tough. But better uniform.
And the SEC Conference Championship, Bama versus Missouri.
Oh,
Dries.
sorry. Excuse me.
I think Missouri's defense will keep them in until about the second quarter. I mean, they've got Shane Ray, who leads the conference in sacks, but I think Blakeson, he's liable to throw a couple interceptions, especially against Missouri's defense. But I think he gets it going with Amari Cooper, and they pull away. It's a big blowout, Alabama.
Cross.
Saban's one of the best coaches in the history of college football. He is going to find out a way to beat a good Missouri team. They've been getting kind of knocked all year, but to get to that point, they had to play well. So my guess is Saban probably reads how to beat teams for dummies and beats them by 40 points.
And Miss Warren.
Okay, well, obviously. I went to the University of Missouri.
At Columbia.
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 Thank you very much. We'll first start with the uniforms. We all know that Alabama's uniform is the most boring uniform on the planet. We don't change it because of tradition, blah, blah, blah. They look old school. I think it's old that they've been in the championship for so long. I think it's time for a new guy to come and take its place. I think they are totally underestimating Mizzou. I think the fourth quarter is actually when, if we are going to win, that's when it's going to happen. They're going to think they have us beat like everybody else has thought that they had us beat, and then come back in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be very exciting, and I hope it is. I hope that, if we do lose to Alabama, that at least it's close, that it's exciting for everybody who's watching. But based on the uniform, Mizzou has awesome uniforms. Take a look. Alabama, boring. Alabama just is boring. I don't care if they have a good coach. They're boring.
Best coach.
Mizzou
Champ.
all the way. Just watch, people. It could happen. It could happen any Saturday, right? Any given Saturday, it could happen.
And our NFL action, Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati. Dries.
I think Cincinnati comes in here knowing that if they win this game, they pretty much locked up the AFC North. But I think the X factor in this game is going to be Andy Dalton. I mean, sometimes he's pretty good, and sometimes he's awful. I think he's gonna be good enough to manage the game. And Steelers defense has been pretty shaky this year. I think Hill runs over 100, and I think Cincinnati's strong defense keeps Le'Veon under 100. So, since he wins this one.
Cross.
It's a good thing it's a home game for the Bungles. Otherwise, they'd probably lose. Andy Dalton, will be good Andy, showing up this time. He'll probably throw a couple of TDs. I'm hoping, Darius, that Gio Bernard goes over 100 because, hey, fantasy implications, boys and girls. AJ Green, Bernard, and Andy Dalton. Then you got, what's that? Vontae Burfict. Like, that's a crazy name. He's going to kill somebody. Plus, Roethlisberger complaining about, I can't feel my fingers, I'm going to play anyway. Power of his beard is not more powerful than
It's
numb
phalanges.
fingers on his throwing hand. And Le'Veon Bell is going to get worn out too. Too much use.
Okay, I have a lot of history with the Steelers, my family. A lot of them are from Pittsburgh. But look at the uniform for the Bengals, guys. I mean, come on, it's pretty cool. First of all, they have like little stripes on their shoulders. I mean, come on, that's pretty tough,
It's like
right?
the flashiness of Oregon.
I
They're-
mean,
little
doves
feathers.
on the shoulder feathers. This is some little Bengal tiger. So I'm gonna go, and people will be mad at me. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I don't think the Steelers are gonna do it. It's impressive, but this is more impressive.
And our final matchup, Seattle Seahawks versus Philadelphia. Dries.
Not exactly sold on Mark Sanchez in this offense. I mean, he's been putting up a lot of points lately, but they played a good defensive backfield in Green Bay, and they lost by like 30 points. Once again, you're probably playing the best defense in the country in Seattle. And I think Sherman, Thomas, they have a big game, and they win in Philadelphia.
Cross.
Yeah, Sanchez, unfortunately his time is up. He's had a nice little run at it. Seahawks have been playing so tough lately. Even Russell Wilson has been playing tough, and I expressed concern about mobile quarterbacks a few weeks ago, saying the end is near. Russell Wilson can actually pass, and he can run. All those other clowns like Kaepernick and Newton and the other scrub out there.
Kaepernick, Newton.
Oh, RG3.
RG3, yeah.
RG3, yeah. Scrubtastic. Yeah, I think the Seahawks, even though it's in Philly, brotherly love, hitting Santa with some snow and ice, I think Seahawks win this one. And I want to know the difference between the Steelers uniforms and Missouri's uniforms, because they're both the same color.
No.
Same
there's-
basic
no,
color.
No.
Yellow and black.
Yeah, but we have a lot more designs on us.
When was the last time they changed their design on their helmet on?
Way better helmet too.
Okay. People champ though.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna go with. They're both kind of boring actually, but and the white uniform almost looks exactly the same. So I'm gonna go. Hopefully Seattle will wear their blue uniform because it's got some little flashy lime on there. I mean, who can't beat lime? Look at that.
Because it's a home game.
I know it's a shame, but well then they're gonna wear the blue or the teal. What color are they?
Green.
It's a funky color. I did have a lot of trouble, let me
Hunter
just say,
green.
finding the Philadelphia Eagles uniform because there seems to have been many problems this year with their uniform color. I read that on all my research that these guys sound like they know. I was researching uniforms. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Seattle. I like their the touch of lime, and if they wear white, they still have their lime on their gloves.
Touch a line.
Touch of lime for the win.
Now it's time for my picks of the week. Mariota struggled greatly during the first meeting between the Wildcats and the Ducks, but I'm going to go with the upset here, and I'm going to pick the Wildcats. Solomons look great, and I don't think they're going to be able to do a lot with them, so I'm going to go with the Wildcats. Jameis Winston doesn't break the law between now and kickoff. I think FSU probably has a good chance to beat the swarm of Georgia Tech, but I think it's going to be a close one. I know people are really feeling the Buckeyes right now, but you can't really do anything with Gordon running the way he is for the Badgers. So I'm going to stick with Wisconsin here. And the SEC matchup, Bama versus Missouri, despite great fashion taste and wonderful uniforms, I think it's going to come down to old man football, and Bama's probably going to pull this one out. For the NFL games, Pittsburgh's defense is really shaky, but I just don't trust the Ginger Rifle right now. So I'm going to go with the Steelers here. In my final matchup...
like 60 years old.
Are you an ageist now?
I am.
He's an old man now. He's a year
Old man
older,
football,
so,
you know. Perfect for Harrison.
It's not our demographic. And for Seattle versus Philadelphia, I'm going to go with the Seahawks because Sanchez, he's just not a franchise quarterback, even though he's looked really good. And this is a totally different ballgame, so stick with the Seahawks in this one. So if you like our style or there's just this blank space in your life that you're just trying to fill, shake it off with the blue and gold. And check us out on Bulldogs page 1. And get yourself a plastic belt while you're at it. That's gold. So, any closing comments or shout-outs, guys?
Yes. I believe you guys picked Ohio State to lose against Michigan State a couple weeks ago, and they pretty much thrashed them. I think they do the same against all the adversity. Urban Meyer's coached this team excellent, and I think they're going to do what they've been doing the past 10, 12 weeks.
Follow me on Twitter at TauntaunMcCoot13 for all the knowledge-dropping truthisms, ageisms, everything you possibly want in a Twitter without the harsh chemical residue.
I'm gonna tell him happy birthday because he's old now. Very, very old. Is he doing the Oregon? Okay, let's do Mizzou. Okay, so
Mercy.
I just want to say to all my Tiger fans, for everybody who doesn't think it's possible to believe, we just gotta believe, and they just gotta bring their defense. And Matty Mock just has to be awake tomorrow. Like he has to be on his best, and he can do it. He can do it, people. He can do it.
There's only one T.
I don't know, because he's fancy. I mean, he's got a cool uniform. I
Say
think.
he couldn't afford a second T on the
No.
birth certificate or
No.
something like that. People can't.
See you next time, guys.
I get drunk on jealousy, but you'll come back each time you leave. 'Cause darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream. So it's gonna be